right. We had some sound issues. Really appreciate Sean. Let me know. Let me post this quick. Issues. Really appreciate. Sounds like it's actually working this time. That's great. I should have checked before. It's on me. Um, but I have issues with my microphone sometimes. Um, so let me sign into this chat in case anyone has anything to say in here. Okay. So I don't want to redo the whole thing, but I will. Now that I have some of the, this is gonna be a lot easier now because I spent about an hour digging into some new signals and looking for patterns. I found some, and some of them are pretty good. So if you want to get a hold of me on Twitter, it's @RedBenTrader. If you want more information about algorithmic trading, systematic entries and stuff like that, you can contact my coach, trade letter N, wordperform @gmail.com. If you let him know that you talked to me, that he'll give you a 5-day free pass to the room if you trade futures and want to become more consistent. So, but realize the room, there's a cost associated with the room. So we're really only looking for a few like committed traders who want to get better trading futures. So, what we're looking at, this is my version of the trade and perform algo. So the primary version looks like this. It's a lot easier. There's only a few studies added, and we use multiple charts together to determine what to do and when. So that's our primary tool, is to determine what to do, is by looking for patterns. We're not just looking for individual signals. It's not like you can just short every single time you see a pink star, but it may be as simple as determine what state you're in. Are you bearish with momentum? Are you balancing? And then once you have that state determined, then you can go to the next step of the process, which is, do I have a trade entry trigger that fits with this condition or this state, right? So on the regular trade and perform algo, it's a lot easier to see because it doesn't have as many signals as mine does. It's all of these signals are needed and used by everybody. So it's relatively simple, to be honest. Once you learn, it looks complicated if you haven't seen it before, but once you learn the patterns, you do not really have to even understand a lot of it. You just sort of have to know what you're looking for. So an example of like something we might look for is what we call a supernova. So the idea here is, if you look for these little triangles here, these we call apexes, and if you have a significant down wave, preferably with a lot of volume, but primarily in a range, it could be the low of the day, doesn't have to be, and then it either makes a higher high and closes a bar above the apex previous, or it puts in an apex and closes above that. Generally, you can start taking more trades. Some conservative traders won't even take a long trade until that occurs, which can be really smart because then you miss out on all sorts of trend down momentum. And if you were looking for like green bars to buy, you might take, I guess, 2 stops in a row here. Now, some of my colors are a little bit different than Simon's. Like, my green bars are the POC over POC, and the orange bars are POC under POC. So they're volume shifts with price shifting as well. But if you're in the room, these are like little boxes. I already have boxes on my chart for something else, so I didn't want to get confused. And I find I actually use those quite a bit, so the color bars are easier for me to see. But if you would have waited for the supernova, which happened, so you'd miss this little move, right? If you were looking long only, I guess not. If you were just buying green bars, you'd be okay here. Oh, it's actually the current condition right now. So we've gotten underneath the low of the apex. Of the supernova. Sorry, it's late. So it produced a supernova here, and then the best odds trade would be testing under that and then coming right back again, which could happen momentarily. That would be the first opportunity to take a long if you were a conservative trader and not trying to scalp every one of these little moves, you'd wait for either this to break out and make a new high, and then higher low, and then start looking for longs up here. Or if this happens, you basically have one shot to take the long, but it's got to close up here at 11,439. You'll see the number over here is the price that the Renko bar needs to reach or actually cross to trigger bullish, and then the red one is where it needs to reach to trigger bearish. And realize that the signals are not valid, and they may not stay there until the price closes. Once price closes, the signals won't repaint. Some of them are they don't show up for another 2 bars, but they won't they won't disappear. So, and the late entry ones are just these apexes, which we don't use for entries. We use them for location. But anyway, so this is the trade and perform algo. I'm not going to go into every one of these signals, but just know that there's patterns and stuff like that that give us entries and give us a lot of information about the market. What I find the most difficult is for trading like this is not the entries. The entries are actually learning the entry patterns is actually the easy part. That only really took a couple weeks. Once I really understood that, like, I just needed to wait until I see a purple bar and then a white star, and then I can take a long as it's bullish. Like, that's pretty simple, and you can do just fine like that, but it's gonna rely on your ability to interpret that last part, which is when it's bullish. So it'll work when it's bullish, but if you try to take purple bar followed by white star when it's bearish, it's gonna stop out, right? Because our stops go right below the entry bar, and the entry would be somewhere around there or anywhere in between. But the stop is there, and you get stopped out immediately, and it's like, wow, that didn't work. I thought that was a good pattern. Well, it is if it's bullish, but it's not, right? So a challenge that I've had is to determine, like, how do I know for sure that it's bullish, and that, like, this kind of a pattern is usually going to produce a move to the opposite side, and how can I avoid situations like this where it may be like you get a purple bar followed by a sign of aggression and it just like rolls over on you, because that can cost you a lot if you're trading with leverage. So what I did was I took this and then added more signals to it, and I'm continuing to add signals to it, but a lot of the stuff I'm adding recently it's actually the intention to replace some of the other signals that I personally added, because it's just getting too busy. There's just too much stuff to watch. So in a perfect world, what I'd like to do is actually remove these indicators and replace them with conditional colors in the background, like these purple and the pink. And that way I don't have to watch the actual lines. I can just say when it's purple or pink, I mean, that I know that in condition A, B, and C that I can take aggressive trades. So for instance, pink is a bullish condition, and so bars with bull aggression, when the momentum is there, and in I've got conditions for these I can explain, but that will often produce that move. Okay, then the opposite of that is purple. So purple and the diamond and the X are both signs of aggression that aren't used anymore by some. Well, the X is my own idea. The diamond is it's a fancy speed bar. I took the old idea of a speed bar and added some more stuff to it. So that produces a move down, and the entry's here, and the stop is here. Let me find another one. Now they won't always work, because if you trade them against momentum, they're going to be like 50%. So pink, that happens here. That one gets stopped out, and then it tries again and pretty much rolls over, right? So these aren't going to be 100%, and you don't want to take all of them. In fact, some of them you can definitely avoid. But one of the things I want to use these for is not just for entry signals. It's basically to say if the trades are setting up and working, I know that other trades at that same aggression level will probably also work. And when they stop working, I can stop taking the aggressive trades. So, an example of that would be, let's say you weren't sure if it was bullish or bearish here on this time frame. So rather than just guessing and being like, well, I've got a purple bar and this is a sign of aggression, or a purple background, that's a sign of aggression. I know that if it's bearish, it's probably going to go lower, so I'll just short it. Instead, you skip this one and you say, okay, well, I know that when it's bearish, purple backgrounds and an aggressive bar will usually create some kind of a move down. Let's see if that happens. When it does, I mean, even when this happens, you could say, wow, okay, it's not that bullish, because if it was bullish, this wouldn't have produced much of a drop. Now I can start looking for my aggressive bear moves. And suddenly, if you get a pullback like that, you could probably short pink bar star and be pretty confident that that's going to work. So it's enhancing the my ability to determine what gear I should be in, whether or not I should be oh, here, sorry, I wasn't following along with Twitter. I see that if you feel free to chat in Twitter, Sean, or else if you want it to be on the stream, you can put it in the chat box. But I'm if you wanted to keep it between us, you can keep it on Twitter. That's fine. But I'm I'm kind of I'm definitely a little bit addicted to the idea of optimizing my entries and my ability to do things. Now, I didn't do all of this overnight. Like, a lot of these things were just not. They were in the works. They just weren't visual yet, you know. But it's in process, right? In the process of being something pretty useful, I think. So yeah, that's kind of how these go. Now, the other thing that's kind of neat about these little colors down here are when you get two of them, one right after the other, you can get some really good information, and it can produce some really big, basically pivots. Not necessarily an immediate move, but a location that might be relevant in the future. So the common ones, the white background are spots where I can take continuation trades with momentum. So it's where I would expect, if I see a white bar and I get a sign of aggression, not necessarily on that bar, but shortly after it, I can expect that move in that direction should continue. When it doesn't, that information is actually even more valuable than whatever I'd make on the trade itself. Because, for instance, here, let me find one where it starts to work and then stops working. We haven't had much bullish action, have we? I guess I could do it the other way. Brown is the opposite. We could do it the other way. Everyone's long these days. I'll find a long. Okay, here we go. So it starts to get bullish here. All right, so we didn't have any. Oh, I guess I just didn't load enough bars on that. So they don't start showing up till here. So let's watch for just white for bullish and then brown for continuation bearish. And what you're going to see is the brown ones are going to start to fail and the white ones are going to start to work. And then you know that the direction is going to be going to be up until proven wrong, right? So purple is bearish, pink is bullish again, but they work better when you're not consolidating. Purple and pink, you need range to make them work. They fail in like tight balance. Whereas the white and the brown create breakouts and continuation. So this one happened to create a breakout though. Okay, so white right? So that's bullish for continuation, but there's no signal to buy here. So I'm not just buying the top. I'm thinking, okay, we're probably not ready to roll over yet. And then we immediately get a bear right after that. So white immediately followed by brown. If it's late in the trend, the move, this can be the top, but usually when it's early, it's gonna come back to white again. So let's see which one wins, and we're gonna know whether or not this trend is very strong. So you can see brown gets one. They get one bar down that's purple, and it's also divergent. That's my divergent dot. Mine are black and blue. Simon's are like white, and I don't even think he uses the bearish one. I actually love the bearish one because it sets me up for great trades in the opposite direction when they get trapped. So here, there's still no trade there. So there's my speed trap, is what I call it, the diamond. It's a speed bar, but it only triggers when they've had an aggressive trader behind them, right? So there's an aggressive seller and then a speed bar. And then I've also got the little blue box here, which is why I can't color this with the boxes. The orange is the shift, the POC over POC, or POC under POC. But the boxes have to do with it's, how can I explain this? It is basically like volume getting tested. So a like high volume. I don't want to call it a high volume area because it's not based on the profile, but it's like a spot that's had a lot of volume go off is becoming support. They're at least trying to make it support, right? So in this case, what it's basically saying, in a nutshell, is that in here, there was a lot of volume compared to here. And so if you can get a lift off there, it can be a really good breakout momentum entry. If it's also got, whoops, oh shit, what is making all that noise? I don't know which one it is, you guys, sorry. I sometimes put bells and stuff on here. I thought I turned them all off, but one of them must still have it on there. Let me, hope here, I can just turn it down. I know what to do. There we go. And it's not coming through. Yeah, okay, we're good. So hopefully we won't hear them anymore. They keep me alert when they matter, but we're working and not trading. So, yeah, the blue, and then on the opposite side, they're yellow. When they have a diamond on the inside of the bar and the box, they're really good as long as you're going with the trend. They will not work counter trend, but they are beautiful for continuation momentum trading. What I would have liked to see, though, is that white background to come back here. But you can see the bears tried, and they're gonna lose here. So we just didn't get the confirmation. But what I do see is brown is not working, right? And the white produced continuation. So if you didn't know then, you know now that you probably shouldn't be shorting unless that condition changes. So you get the bearish one here at the top with an aggressive signal. That could take us back to support. Yeah, so we get back here. Now this is supernova, so that's a buy. Like for everybody in the room. Like we're gonna trade once it's supernova, once we've gotten, I explained this already, but once you've gotten an apex and then you've gotten above with a close of that apex, you already know you're looking for longs, right? But sometimes they just fail. And so by the time you see that, if you get a trap, like we're not necessarily taking the breakout in the room, but now that I've seen that this is working in the direction I want, that trap is perfect, right? And no white bar at the top. Nobody got trapped up there. No buyers got trapped. Everything's working the way it's supposed to. So that should be good. On the smaller time frame, the 15 tick, we got pink, which is the opposite of purple. So that's bullish, particularly when you're expanding in range. And then you get purple here and purple in the smaller time frame. They make a higher low with the blue box again, and they're consolidating. See, these work better for breakouts. If we get a trap here, I'd have to take it. Right there. So there's no bear signals here, and we're getting a bull signal here, right? And range looks to be potentially expanding. and no buyers have been trapped. So long. And then there's our confirmation. If you didn't take this one, now you get the white. It's like, hey, this trend could continue. There it goes. Now, no sell signal here. And then there, is it not a trap? It's a head and shoulders trap. We're going to call it that. I'm finding when it's bullish, in other words, when the white ones are working, POC over POC followed by pink bar, if it has this plus on it, like super good. But do not overdo it. The pink bars as entries are like, I've blown up accounts trying to figure that out. Let's just put it that way. It's they're Apex accounts, but they're hard because you have a bigger stop. You have a 2-bar stop rather than a 1-bar stop. They work better on a smaller time frame. If you can get it to line up on the small time frame, it's perfect because then you get a small stop. But if you can read a market and you have strong confidence of the direction, this exact pattern is really, really, really good. And is it going to work every single time? No, but it often produces big extensions. I don't even know if it worked this time, but it often will work. Yeah, it did. So this one you needed 2 pluses. That's actually even better. This entry is fine. I don't know if it's better, but it's fine. Where it gets tricky with the pluses, I'm finding, if you get the plus up here, like you get a plus here, and then you go higher, and then you get a plus up here, that's potentially a problem. You want the plus to be like adding to the tension before the breakout. You don't want it. It's the best way I can describe it. I didn't build it, but I've worked with the algo long enough that like it doesn't take me long to sort of see what it's doing. And what I would say, I'm not going to say like what I think it's doing, but I can definitely say that what it's acting like is like how would I describe this? I'm trying to think of a good metaphor. It basically is like a weapon that works really well, like maybe like dynamite, right? Where if you know where the wall is, and you know on the other side of that wall is like open space, dynamite works great. But if you're in some like maze or something and you have no idea where you're going and you just like throw some dynamite, like it's not going to do shit, right? It has to be targeted. And so that's how these pluses seem to work, is when they're positioned right behind resistance like this, they're perfect. But if you're like way out in the middle of nowhere and you've been going in that direction for a while, losing those getting under those plus signs are actually great sell signals. And then I've put negative ones on here too, and those produce really good continuation trades when you trap them. So white, see that? And now remember, we're not buying that signal, please. It's right on the plus though, which is cool. And the purple plus, the negative plus, that's the bearish plus. Then we get this beautiful combo. I absolutely love this bar. So we have divergence, we have an engulfing bar, which I have pink, and then we have and I only mark the engulfing bars if they have a ton of volume, because that's the only ones I care about. I feel like the way Simon does it, it's too much, so I retooled that one. And then the star. And then it's also got the blue breakout box. So, which basically means there's been a shit ton of volume in here, and we're turning that into support. See that? That's what that's telling me. So it's like a structural hint that like there's if you think it's bullish, this might be now it sometimes needs more than one. Here it is on the bear side. And see, if there's not support there, it just goes to support. So and then no support here goes to support, right? It's like a magnet. So you have to be a little careful because sometimes it takes 2 or 3 tries. A sign that it's not working is, I've been playing with this for quite a while. if you get them closer and closer to support or resistance or whatever, the direction you're going, right? So if you're trying to be short and you get one here and then you get another one that's lower and then another one that's lower, if you keep going like this, as soon as you break the lowest one, it's over. And that is your spring for taking off. Okay? So that's the trade setup that I like with those. But what helps now is this white confirming to me, if you want to take the aggressive trades, you can take them. Right? Now what's hard about this, what's hard about this is that the smaller time frame does not have dominance in volume. I've added a little, see this little dash? That is associated with the high of the previous volume wave. So it sort of like helps my eye see how high the bear wave needs to get to be dominant. And you can see that this bear wave we didn't need to know that bear wave was clearly dominant. But the thing is it's dominant on the 24 tick. So see how bulls, okay, if bears had dominance here, it would cross this dash, and it has not. So you don't want to get too in the weeds with using the smaller time frame. If the bigger time frame is dominant, you're good. And if you have other signals that you think it could be bullish. Yeah. And then I use the volume zone oscillator because I like these hidden divergences. See how it's making a lower high and getting to the bottom of the neutral zone? And here it's like, that's not a lower high. So the indicator has cooled off, and that's often required before you can break out. So if you're looking for a breakout, this is what they look like. If you want to wait for the pink bar with the, see it's another pink bar with the plus sign, beautiful. It works wonders next to these divergent dots, as long as it's bullish, just like the green ones, or the POC over POC, followed by the pink triangle with the plus. Stellar. Like chef's kiss, awesome. As long as it's bullish. Okay, so see what happens when we get stuck? Box. They're trying to break out, but they can't get out. See that? They tried to break down, and they couldn't get, they just got to support, and it turned around. So if it's bullish, and I get white, that's continuation. Look how the bears tried hard to flip it. They had the purple and the brown, two different techniques to turn the market, and neither one worked. So in the past, when I saw this, I'd be like, damn, I missed another move, is what I'd usually be thinking. Now, I'm seeing that if I want to, I can probably buy the continuation. It's really aggressive, right? But if I get this pullback right away, and I've gotten this white, and I know that this is going to be a plus if it goes bullish, it's probably all right, as long as I've gotten this signal here. So, now, in this case, it doesn't go very far, but for a scalp, it's... On the other hand, what I will say, if you print a plus this high, right, outside of the base, if you start printing pluses outside of the base and you lose them, I mentioned before, that is a great sell signal. So, well, if you want to be aggressive and take the late scalp, I don't think it's here. I don't think it's wrong, especially if you can get it on a pullback. But realize that if you print a plus and you don't hold it, it's done. It's probably time to reverse. And what you'll see is down here, I believe it switches. Oh, maybe only on the smaller time frame. But see how on this, see now we've taken out the plus, and it's definitely not bullish. You want to be out of that trade. Look what happened here on the smaller time frame. We printed bull white. I think we did this already, didn't we? This was what we did before, I think. I think we looked at, oh, maybe that was in the, I can't remember if that was in this stream or the one before it. Maybe it was the one before it. So I don't, if I'm repeating myself, tell me. I think it was the one before. So there's, like I said, there's multiple different ways that I can get triggers down here. The white and the brown are like the regular continuation, like, is it bullish, is it bearish kind of thing, right? The purple on the bear side and the pink on the bull side, if they set up a DVP, I'll show you. So if you, and this works on any time frame, if you draw the wave to the high or the wave to the low, and all the volume is at the highs, or at the lows for going down. If the next bars are purple anywhere in the next wave, and it's also got a sign of aggression. In this case, it's the speed trap. Um, like basically every opportunity to sell should be taken, and you can't buy that trap. That trap is poison when that happens. When you have that DVP set up correctly, and you get the purple bar, basically saying that like volume got really heavy right at the top, the chances that you break that right away are really unlikely. You usually need to rest before you can continue higher. So if you're shorting, this is a great short now, once that's failed. Otherwise, if you want to be really aggressive, you can take it here. But I would normally take this one. And then on the higher time frame, it would be here on the black dot, as long as you recognize that it was bullish or bearish. I mean, note here you did get volume dominance on the bear side. I lied. You're close. Close enough for me. And then the on this time frame, the volume zone oscillator has clearly given up the zero line. Now, it could create bearish hidden divergence, but it hasn't yet. So I'm guessing it's going a little lower. If you want to wait for the purple bar to follow the dot, you can. It's just that now we're pretty far from the apex, so you'd have to put your stop here either way. So it's like if that's a trade you're willing to take, it's awfully low, but the pattern's right. It's just the location isn't wonderful, but it works a lot of the time. Oh, and then this green bar is also not something I'd want to buy, right? Because once I've gotten that trigger on this one, unfortunately only happened on the smaller time frame. But once I've gotten this purple with the volume at the highs, and then it's rolled down, and if a trap has failed, especially if I got white and that failed, I'm bearish. I'm not gonna assume like, and look at this is an impulse move, right? So I don't buy traps anymore when we've got an impulse move on the smaller time frame. Like it works sometimes for 10 points, but I'm not going to take it. And you'll see now the bigger one will have an impulse move. See how big this is? And it's got volume dominance over the one to the high. Like this is the high. And they've put in more volume to the downside in one swoop than they did the whole way up. Like this entire move got 100% retraced. So no, if you want to do the supernova, maybe like this low down here, I guess, is the supernova low, the blue line. That's okay. And I took it today. And I think it's fine. But I'm not going to take these early drops here. And I wouldn't, I didn't take this one either. This one worked, though, by the way. Pretend it worked. I didn't take it. And it worked. It's fine. I don't like being aggressive in the face of impulse move. I'm not saying that it's not going to work. In fact, if this is a distinct enough low, it can work a lot. But I just don't like trading traps across the chasm like this when we have a lot of volume. I just don't like it. So this one worked. They don't always work. But if we look at the colors, we did not have the purple didn't come in yet, pink didn't come in yet on this side, which would have been nice, but we did get it on the smaller time frame. So if you wanted to be aggressive, you did get confirmation on the smaller time frame that a bounce could happen if you're getting range expansion, which we are, and that's when purple and pink work. So is this range expansion? At this point, it looks kind of like consolidation. I don't know if I'd want to short that. Yeah, that look kind of dangerous, right? Like what I'll tell you is that pink and purple work if you expect range to expand from here. So if you think that this is going to make a bigger wave down than this one, not just continuation of the trend, but expansion, then go ahead and take the purple bar. Otherwise, it's just going to be a trap for buyers to take advantage of. So once the purple bar gets trapped and you get white, if you think it's bullish, you should be buying. But I would not call this bullish. So I didn't. But yeah, if it's set up correctly, you could technically buy it because it's got white now. So if it's set up, you can buy it. I don't have a setup here. It did go a little higher, but I can't buy green. I can't buy POC way up here. They have to be at the apex basically. They have to be back here at support. If it came all the way back down and then bounced, maybe. But the other place purple works really well is after a DVP trade. So if all this volume is at the low, the purple can work really well. Just like the pink would work really well. Where'd pink go? I keep mixing those up. The pink would work very well if all the volume was at the low. That's the other. It's range expansion, and when volume's at the very low. It doesn't have to be, but it works really well when it is. Okay, so then they try to get range expansion to the downside. It fails, right? They get white, which is continuation or breakout to the high, and that fails. See that? So purple failed. It consolidated. They tried to break out. They put in a plus sign way too high, and they took it out. Right here, I should have known that we were bearish this morning. And instead, I took the supernova trap, which I think is, like I said, a good trade more often than it's not. But seeing those pluses that aren't after apexes, see how the apexes on mine are these purple flags. If the plus that is, sorry, I've got too many lines. The plus that is right after the apex here, that one's fine. No problem if that gets traded underneath. But if you put more pluses in above that, that low becomes really dangerous because bulls can now get trapped at the highs. So see, now it's gonna approach this low relatively fast. Oh, and then we got yellow. I didn't talk about yellow. So yellow and blue. Maybe I did. Again, I forget because I did two different streams. One of them didn't work. Yellow is up yellow is down and blue is up. The way it works is the third and final condition, right? So we had white and brown. White being bullish, continuation, momentum, or breakout. Brown being bearish, continuation, or momentum, or breakout. We have pink and purple. Pink being bullish, range expansion. Purple being bearish, range expansion. And then yellow are what I call trap release. Blue and yellow. So blue is bullish trap release. Yellow is bearish trap release. Sometimes it doesn't work this way, but the very best trade that I've found with yellow, if you have a yellow bar, yellow down here, right? If the bearish bar gets traded behind, especially with pink bars, and then they retrace and reclaim that low right here, it's gonna roll hard a lot of the time. See that? Just straight down. So if I get yellow, then trade above the high, especially with just pink bars, and then pink bar star, pink bar orange bar, pink bar box, pink bar anything aggressive, especially if it's followed by a plus sign, I have lots of confidence that that's going to work. If I don't want to take that trade for some structural reason, I can wait for it to be taken out, but then you're going to probably have to chase it a bit because it's going to be aggressive. The same exact thing on the opposite side would be blue getting trapped with a purple bar and then immediately bouncing. We haven't seen a blue yet. They don't occur very often. It's an unusual scenario, but when they happen, the opportunity is really good. So look, brown continuation on the small time frame, no brown on the higher time frame. What does that mean? It means the low might be, it might just go a little bit lower, right? Or they might get trapped. And remember, when those get trapped, you can get some pretty big trades. So, nope, they just continue it lower. See that? So it looked like here, it was like, there's no way they're going to sell this right into the low. I'm not going to short the low, right? They pull back a little bit. That is actually a great continuation trade, just like the white background was for the bulls. Breaks down. Notice here you finally got the brown, but it was too late. There was no trade here. It was after the star, so didn't do you much good on the 24 take. There's our pink, right? So if it's not ultra bullish, or if you think it's range expansion, that'll produce a lift. It's on both time frames, so that helps. But remember, it works best when you either have volume really far away at the highs or right there at the lows and you've already trapped it. In this case, it's right in the middle, and it'll probably not get farther than that. Yeah, see how it gets stuck? It'll only work if it's in range expansion. It won't work as a consolidation breakout or as a reversal. You need to trap somebody first. Notice you get the continuation trade signal on both, and it's an aggressive bar. That's an entry. Pink bar, orange bar, green bar, orange bar, continuation, take it. I'm taking it. I'm doing it. And then here we get pink, right? Pink. So let's see, where's all the volume? It's way at the high. Way at the high. So you might be able to get a pullback here. If you wanted to be aggressive and you had a trap, it'd be pretty freaking far away. But if you had a trap and that kind of setup comes up, this probably works. Oh, nope, doesn't work. Sometimes they don't work. Kind of worked on the smaller time frame, but didn't get where I thought it would get. So yeah, pink, only range expansion. Oh, and then look, smaller time frame says continuation lower right here. Pink bar, orange bar, short. Another one. So now you're up like 80 points on shorts. Even if you took a stop, it's like, okay, well, 70 points. That's fine. 65. All right, so no colors down here. So if this was a trap, I'd probably avoid it. And it rolls. We get, once again, continuation, orange bar, pink bar 2 before it. It's probably going lower. Yep. Okay, brown, once again, on a aggressive bar. But look, it was up here. These two were together, see? Those two were close. This one, oh shit, I went too far. This one didn't get one on the higher time frame. What that means is we have to watch out to see if it gets trapped, right? If we trap over this and get a bullish signal, it can squeeze. The very next bar, get pink. Well, pink can be range expansion. When do you get range expansion? When you get the volume at the very lows, or you're rotating around a level and making higher highs and lower lows. Well, in this case, we had, or if you have volume way at the highs, you can probably get somewhat of a retracement. This one, volume was right at the low. This can break out, and it can be violent. Look at that. Okay, you get purple in the smaller time frame. Is that going to work? Are we in range expansion? Maybe, right? Unless this is a bullish trend. How would we know? Well, first of all, we have to wait for a signal, right? Well, there it is. Now, if all the volume is at the highs, chances are it's going lower. The volume's at the low. It might work, but it probably won't take out the low, is what I would guess, right away. And it goes right to it. Nice. So I didn't expect it to work that well, and it just literally just worked perfectly. So pink bar must open up the opportunity for purple bar in bear. So you probably do, if you're trying to look for if you're looking for the bottom, the low of the day, it's probably not going to be pink. And if you're looking for the high day, it probably won't be purple. It'll probably be a capitulation trade underneath a blue bar, a blue background. That's what I'm guessing. Otherwise, it'll be brown that gets trapped. And then, I guess that could create pink, but we'll have to see. I'll see if that's true. I'm not totally sure about that. Okay, pink, purple, pink. You think this will work? Is it range expansion? It might be. Are we making lower lows and higher highs? Yeah, we kind of did, right? Uh-oh, volume's right ahead of us. This probably will not work. This was a trap, and because of where volume is and the fact that it's pink, and there's no one trapped, I'm pretty sure you can skip it. Yeah, that's hard, but because this is a classic trap. It's just not bullish, right? It's just not bullish. It is range expansion though. You made a lower low and a higher high, and I took this trade. I did. I didn't love it, but I took it. I think I took it in NES, but one way or another, it looked good to me without knowing what these things look like. I didn't know the patterns yet, and now that I do, I can see that it may not work very often, especially with a green bar and that's got a pink background. Purple pink usually makes a pivot. It's not something you want to trade right away. It's something you want to wait to see where they break out of, and when they break out of it, see, this should have continued if it's bullish. Those plus signs right after apexes are strong. Yet they speed trap them and give us continuation bearish. Continuation bearish. Look what happened on the smaller time frame. We got bear continuation, got blocked by a buyer. If it is bullish, this will expand. So if you don't want to be aggressive, wait for them to fail, right? So they try to break it. Look, this is the guy that can get trapped, right? It's this guy right here. This is the aggressive trader. They're trying to trap him. They can't do it. See that? That's not bullish. It gives us a continuation trade. I've not normally done that, but in this situation, the stars in particular appear to work really well for that. Really well. Now in this case, doesn't work out so well. You get a little bit, and then they trap back in again, right? It has been going on for a long time. Let's see. It's a white bar. So now, technically, those should really work best when it's bullish. And you need to get over that high to really make a difference. It would help if we had volume dominance, which we do not, right? It is a trap, and it's a trap I took. And I held it, assuming that this was going to hold, because I wasn't thinking about it this way. But now that I see, it makes perfect sense to actually sell like Bill did. Sell 5 points as soon as this rejects. Even though I don't have a sell signal, we know that this needs to be at a breakout. These white bars, they work better at a breakout point. At continuation, not at the lows. So, all right, now we get a white here. Does that make any sense? Continuation up? No. Whatever beats that is going to be a breakout, most likely. So they go up back again. Again, that's not the right place to be buying with white bars. Look at this bar right here. The yellow box and the diamond. The arrow is something different. Don't worry about that. But that is the kind of bar that creates breakouts. So if we get brown down here as we come down, it's a perfect sell. Okay, another one right at the breakout point. No brown signal, but that's the breakout. See that? Those are the only breakouts I'm going to be buying from now on. Okay, we get all the way down here with no signal whatsoever. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what to make of that. Here's continuation on orange, usually, or stars. Continuation. Okay, pink. Do we have expanding range? Maybe. Looks more like bearish to me. Is volume at the lows? It's right in the middle. If that's probably our target. If you want to buy with that target, that's up to you, but it's probably not going to go much higher than that. It is a trap, but this is the kind of trap that I'm going to start avoiding. See that? It just doesn't work. And then you get the continuation early. It says continue to short, and then there's your breakout signal. Boom. And now you're up 160 points. Right? So here you get a bullish sign. I don't know why, but I decided to buy that today. Maybe it wasn't this one, but there was one like this that had divergence, and I was like, I'm just gonna buy it. I think it was on ES, but I just decided to buy it anyway, and there was really no reason to. And then right away they give continuation lower, and there's the confirmation: pink bar, orange bar. It looks like it's too low, but that'll work if you've got these signals a lot of the time. Okay, they don't go very far before they speed trap. What are we looking for? Buyers need to get above that and put volume above it. A pink bar is not going to do it. They try, they get continuation lower. Guess what? Be short. Sell. That's in my opinion. I'm just going to sell it from now on. I don't care if I take a stop down there. If it gives me the signal, like 80% of these are working as long as it's bearish. Now this one stops you out and then comes back in, but it triggers you again. I'd give it another shot. And there you go. Now here, once again, we made a low. It trapped back in, and there's just no signal. So that's the way it goes. It did give us the breakout box, but I think this might have been on news or something. I don't know. One way or another, doesn't matter. Purple, is it range expansion? Lower low, higher high, but it looks awfully bullish, and that's a bearish signal. It'll only work if all the volume went off at the top. Oh, it did. It might work. This might come all the way back. Oh, look, continuation higher, but no trigger. Continuation higher. So we're going to know real quick, if you didn't want to be aggressive, who's going to win this battle. Because if this fails, it's definitely bearish. Look at that. Plus at the highs. Sell. And then they confirm it with purple. They're probably like purple, white, and then back to purple again. We're probably expanding range, I bet. Expanding range. Yep. Now here's white. Do we want to buy that? I mean, is it bullish? It's hard because it's supernova. See, we made a low, we made a apex, and then we closed above that. So the way we were looking at it in the room is that's bullish at the lows, and we only need it to give us 10 points. And it might give us more, but if it can give us 10 points, we can hold runners and potentially get 30. We're getting the bull signal. If it's bullish, continuation should happen. I think it's okay. The only reason not to do it is if you have the problem with the DVP at the high, and I guess you kind of do. Right? You've got all the volume. This is the high of this wave. All the volumes at the high, and you've developed below it. See how you've gotten this volume line, the VPOC line, is below that VPOC. The wave VPOC, and if you look real close, where the bar VPOC is, it's below that on the bear bars. See that? Below. So they've put in volume below where all the volume was on the way up. If they get literally any short signal, it's going to be a short. So I think it's okay to buy it as long as you get out at the first sign of aggression. Right there. You don't have to be out. Right? So if that's okay with you, and you can just take 10 points and leave, I think it's totally fine. If you were expecting 30 because it's supernova, I think it's wrong. Now look, it gives you continuation, no signal. Right there, breakout. Right? It's tempting. It looks bullish. We've got a high right here. These break out often, right? We're getting a purple bar and a black dot underneath us. All it needs is one more bar that's not pink, and it's good. I get it, right? And I don't think it's that's hard. It's tough. It's just that you don't have great risk reward, and you have evidence that this short should work. This short should work. Particularly if the volume is not at the low on the way down. On the way off, I guess I'll use this whole thing. Yeah, it's not. We've put volume below both the wave up and the wave down, right there. That bar causes problems. So on this tiny little time frame, that's an issue. On the bigger time frame, volume up there, the bar underneath it is purple. So, questionable. Very questionable. The pink out of position green bars are not great places to buy. This one, purple bar, green bar during a supernova. I mean, it's supernova here on the 24 tick too, see? Closed above the apex. But that pullback is just so weak. I don't know. It's hard for me to take that trade. And the breakout too. It's tough. They then give the breakout in the opposite direction, but no brown here. So I don't think I can sell it unless they get underneath this here, and then like back test it. If they retest it, let's see. Maybe they do. Oh, they do, but there's no signal here. This is where I'd want it. Doesn't trigger. That's fine. Okay, pink bar. Do we have volume at the low? No, it's right above us. Probably is not going to work. And it fails. Okay, brown. Continuation. Supposedly, we can short this on this time frame. Let's see. Freaking dangerous, but you can do it. And it stops. Okay, finally, a bear at the low gets stopped out, right? Finally. Right here. That bear signal got, oh, wait, got stopped out right there. Did we get the VPOC above it? Not yet. Right there. VPOC above. So for all intents and purposes, this is now supernova in my book. And meaning that bull trades on pullbacks should start to work better. And if we get under this low and immediately bounce, especially with the purple bar underneath, I have to try it. Right? Now let's see what the lower indicator tells us. So I get an X, which is a really strong signal. And then we get bullish continuation on a bear bar. If they give a bear signal after this, it's probably short. Oh, they try the breakout candle. Let's see what they do. Bear bar or bear signal, but on a bull bar. I don't know what to do with that. Oh, wait for the bear. There's the bear signal. So the bulls tried to break out. Remember, these boxes are intended to be like breakout tools because they form when you put a lot of volume somewhere, come up, come down, bounce off of it. So they need it to rip, right? Well, bears are attacking with the same technique. They've put in a lot of sellers here. They're using them as resistance, trying to push the market down. The buyers got the signal and the sellers got the signal. So now you have to ask yourself, who's doing better work? Well, the seller's having a hell of a lot more success, right? And then if you look at the indicators, you've got lower highs on the indicators. And if you look here, if that's a higher high, it's like, be careful. On the bigger time frame, on the 24 tick, you didn't have much warning. You would have potentially bought here on the X, or maybe when it got dropped back in here. I don't hate that if you're trying to look for a reversal. But remember, on the higher time frame, you don't have. Oh, wait. This is the supernova apex on the higher time frame. So yeah, the normal trade is to take this purple bar, anything basically can be a buy there, and then if it stops out, you take it twice, which I did this morning, or yesterday morning. I don't think it's wrong because of the location. This is going to work a lot. So with that in mind, I think taking the buy there probably makes sense. But when they tell you to short, oh, they don't. Nope, no short signal. So you just let it stop out. Now look, lower time frame is warning us continuation bearish. We don't have it on the higher time frame, but let's see how that works. Yeah, that makes sense. And so here's on the tiny time frame, you got the aggressive signal with continuation sign, probably going lower. No signals, nothing for a while. Okay, here's one. Bull. Is it bullish? Well, is it supernova? It's not on this time frame, but it is here, right? You've got bullish aggression on the oscillators. So, but remember that's purple bar star. So it's like most people will wait until they have supernova first. It's a smaller time frame. So, and then if you look at this, like that green bar is not positioned. I like it here at the low, not in the middle. So it's personally not a great trade, but if you think it's bullish and you have some, like this is single prints and you think we're gonna bounce off of it, I mean it might work, right? And you get the lift, but you did get the confirmation here, and then look what happens at the high, big X, and the speed trap, and the star on a purple here. Did we get all of the volume at the high? No, it's in the middle. So my first guess would be that we're going there. Yeah, and then they bounce it. That's continuation. I mean, I don't hate that. Because look, the problem is on the bigger time frame, look at how far you are. You just got supernova. You're probably better off waiting for a pullback and seeing what they do. Yeah. Purple bar. Now do they have it all at the highs? If all the volume got at the highs, it's over. Oh, interesting. Okay, let's see what happens here. They go down to the target. That makes sense. They just let it go. They just let it go. Blue. Blue. We haven't seen blue yet. Okay. Remember, blue is for trap release. It's bullish, but what usually happens, they often get traded under. If they retake blue, it usually squeezes. It got blue on the higher time frame too. Now, this is a down bar, so it's a little bit strange. What I want is an up bar that's blue. There we go. So if this area gets taken and then we retake it, or it gets traded behind and then we reclaim it, it's usually pretty strong. Other than that, sometimes it does just break out. It is a trap on this time frame, but it's not on the 24. So I'd probably just hold off, even though it's supernova. I wish I had you know what? I took this trade, and I don't hate it. It's a head and shoulders. It's not bad. That's not that bad. I took that trade. Okay. Don't hate that. So now another purple. What happened this time? Volume at the high? Near the high, not at the high. Can they get volume below it? They get the big X. That guy works a lot with those diamonds really well. Oh, interesting. They got continuation signal, but with a green bar. That's probably not going to work. Yeah. Yeah, they're in trouble now. Now they're trapped under volume. The next bar has to be bullish. Otherwise, this is going to stop out these blue players. Yeah, it's done. Oh, wow. Divergence. They're totally trapped up there. Big move coming now. Anytime now, short it. In my opinion. Aggressively. Okay, they give you the range expansion. Am I wrong? Do they do it one more time? They're so mean if they do. Dude, they are so mean. One more time up there to test this high. Pink bar, star. So you got purple working. We got underneath the volume. We got volume underneath the wave volume, right? So the VPOC of the bar is under the VPOC of the wave. Where is the volume on the way down? We've traded below it. This is a short. DVP short. And the purple bar at the top makes it even better. Continuation trade to the downside. Beautiful. Perfect. Note that the buyers make an attempt with a green bar, a POC over POC, and those fail miserably when you're fighting against the DVP. They do not do well if the wave volume is above them. Very, very poorly. Like, they fail a lot to the point where, like, I wouldn't even take them ever. If that's what you're trying to do, I don't mess around with them up there. Like, if you're at the high, don't even worry about POC over POC. They're only useful at support, in my opinion. Sometimes they're going to work for a small trade, but it's not worth it. Bear continuation. Wow. We should have been trading. I didn't realize this was happening. Got zoned in. It's almost 3 a.m. here. Okay. I can just stay up though. It's fine. Range expansion, yes. Is it bearish though? Yeah. So where's all the volume? Oh, at the lows. Maybe that'll work. It didn't get over it though. Look, we got blue on the smaller time frame. Let's see if we can stop that out and reclaim it. Stop. Stop it up. Yeah. They just roll it over. Continuation signal on the smaller time frame. It's probably going lower. They don't even try. So they've dropped it. Now they've got to reclaim 11,480 before this can go higher. So continuation trades to the downside are the only ones I'd take. Like that. Pink bar, star, after brown, go lower. Please. There we go. Pink. Okay, range expansion. It looks mostly just trending down. But where would the volume take us? Right there. Probably not worth it. It does get there. But, oh, interesting. It works. Interesting. I wonder why. Okay. There's more to learn, apparently. No signal here. What did I have here? Pink. Alright. So there's some other situation where those work. Pink here. See, this is range expansion. See it? And then lower. That's when they work. I don't know how to know that this is range expansion at this point though. What's the hint other than volume? Oh, is it getting over the divergent bar? Is that what it is? Dot across from plus? That might be it. That might be it. What else is there? I don't know. Anyway. Uh, pink. Range expansion is probably going to work. I guess I see it kind of works. Where's volume here? Can't be at the lows. Okay, so it probably works to get us back there. Yeah. Comes to volume, ship it lower. Yeah, range expansion. Cool. Continuation, lower. Wow. And that's where we are. Okay. Neat. I'm excited, honestly. Let's keep trading. What the hell? I'll stay up and grab some caffeine. I'll sleep in the afternoon, right? Quick break so I can get something to drink. Let's see if we can't catch a trade or two. It might be too late, but let's give it a try. Now that we kind of know how this works. If people have questions, let me know. Glad my mic's working this time. I got some other tricks up my sleeve if you want to see, but I think it'd be fun to watch it in real time. So let's watch, and we can do ES as well if you want, but it's easier sometimes to just focus on one. I will be right back. Give me 3 minutes. All right. Got myself some more drink. No caffeine yet. We'll make coffee in a bit. So now that we know how all this works and what we're looking for, let's see if we can't set up some Live trades. We'll see. You know, sometimes it gets really slow here in the middle of London. Sometimes it doesn't. Now, remember, even if I get these signals down here, like this one says continuation likely, I'm not going to blindly trade them. I still need, at least on the smaller time frame, some sort of pattern that I know has like odds that fit the aggressive how aggressive I'm being. I can't just short based on this. These are only conditions, right? They're not execution tools. The execution tools are coming from these. So I'm just deciding whether or not I want to ignore them or not. And like I said, if this works nicely, my goal is to get rid of the lines and the additional, some other additional things, and just combine them into, like, you know, this is happening, so do this, and then I can have less signals, not more. That's always been the plan. But all of this information, if you're curious, is coming from here, and there's the footprint, and then the order book. So, as well as this as well. So that's my PNF chart. Now, what's cool about the PNF is that, like, you can set it up. It's a little different than Renko, right? Like it builds different, but you can use it to see. You can see the patterns. Well, like that. This is how I figured out about the blue bars, is by looking at the PNF chart. Like you can see here, once the blue bars are gone, if they don't, here, look. This is the blue bar right here. It's inside here. All the volume was right there. See that? Oh, hold on. Is someone trying to reach me? Hold on real quick. I don't want to ignore. Okay, cool. So, awesome. Yeah. My friends are going to sleep. That's cool. I'll probably get some rest too, maybe. But I can sleep later. So here's the blue bar. We're going to go all the way up to... oh, no, we're not going to do it that way. We're going to find the volume of the blue bar. This makes more sense. So there's the blue bar, right? It occurred somewhere in there. And if we zoom in, what we're going to see is that during the blue bar, there was a big volume buyer right here and right here, right? Oh, sorry. What the heck? Come here. Here and here. These two were the big volume that happened like in that general area, and then they got trapped. So look what happens when we return to that level. Dink, dink, dink. Test above. Fail. So where do you think the good short is? Right about there. That look like a good place to short? X marks the spot. Neat, right? So yeah, I wasn't watching it, but had I been watching it, that's exactly what you're looking for. What the hell? How did I lose that? Oh, I see what happened. I'm not at the end. Chart end. There we go. Okay. Damn, I missed this. That was an entry. It beeped at me and I didn't look. Yeah, that's a breakout. They didn't get the brown though. The brown came from the higher time frame. We're gonna keep our eye on volume. That's still not totally coded in. Not yet. I still have to watch volume and see who has dominance, and if we put in a divergent volume wave, or if all of the volume occurs at the lows, we gotta watch out. So, but I'm not interested in buying this. If you guys aren't following along at home, here's what's going on the candlestick chart. I don't know what's going on tonight, but they're selling it. I have puts, thankfully, so if this keeps up, I'll be in great shape in the cash account. But I can't do anything about it until the market opens, though, because they're QQ SPY, I think. Which one's stronger? Let's see. Uh, usually it's SPY. I don't know. SPY looks pretty weak. SPY looks really weak. SPY looks ultra weak. Wow. Okay. Look at SPY. ES, I mean. Look at that. So I mean, we do have a lot of potential supports here, right? We have voodoo range level. We've got purple pivots everywhere. But the fact that we have so many of those pivots right on top of each other, it tends to create, um, like, like they just become places for the trend to retest against to accelerate the move down. So now that we've entered them, I'm not surprised that we're going to go step by step here. But I bet you anything, if we open down here, they're going to come up, hit it, reject, come up, hit it, reject, come up, hit it, reject. It'll be a trend day down all day tomorrow. If you look